What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, daily news, everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., with our economy, money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here. The White House is going to give us an update on stimulus measures, the Build Back Better package, and new stimulus talks that they're discussing. The IRS is sending out important information on stimulus that we're going to be talking about here as well, that you might be receiving in the mail, and what to do with that, and what to do if you didn't receive stimulus and how to claim that as well as what's going on here today. So we got a lot to talk about here, so let's jump right in. And we are now officially starting to see a breakdown of services nationwide because of the Omicron variant. Nationwide, we're starting to see multiple different things start to go down. It kind of started with the airlines and thousands of flights go down. And we're now starting to see a lot of different services break down because of the amount of people either quarantining and out, or because of the amount of people just the sheer amount of people here that are testing positive. Here's a couple examples here. Ambulances in Kansas speed towards hospitals, then suddenly change directions because those hospitals are full. Employee shortages in New York City caused delays in trash and subway services and diminished the ranks of firefighters and emergency workers. Airport officials shut down security checkpoints at the biggest terminals in Phoenix, and schools across the nation struggle to find teachers for their classrooms. And it's being said that around 10% of all schools are either closed or have gone virtual now and have no in-person schooling. Yeah, this is just the latest that has just come around here because of the pandemic here within the last few days. Quote, this really does, I think, remind everyone of when the virus first appeared and there were such major disruptions across every part of our normal life, said Tom Cotter, Director of Emergency Response and Preparedness at the global health nonprofit project HOPE. Quote, and the unfortunate reality is there's no way of predicting what will happen next until we get our vaccinations globally up. First responders, hospitals, schools, and government agencies have employed an all hands on deck approach to help keep the public safe, but they are worried how much longer they can keep it up. Here's the perfect example from one of our viewers, Angela Fox, who left this comment publicly on one of our videos here yesterday. I think it was 19 hours ago. I just took a screenshot. Thank you, Angela, for your comment on one of our videos here. This is the perfect example. I happened to see this comment, and it just kind of went exactly with what I was talking about. She says here, I had to call 911 earlier this evening because I was having terrible pain in my side. I was in too much pain to drive myself to the ER or to urgent care. My sister suggested that I go, so I called 911. The emergency responders discouraged me from going to the hospital, telling me that that side of my body that was hurting is a side where there are no organs. I think I have a bad case of indigestion. Obviously, I don't get indigestion because I can't identify the pain. I hear it's pretty bad. Here's the important part, of kind of the story here. The emergency responders told me the hospitals were full with Omicron cases and they were actually closing the hospitals. So the emergency responders basically said not to go to the hospital, even though she was in, quote, terrible pain, and encouraged her not to go. She says, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. She forgot to mention. They need to come on with these monthly checks because it's obviously not safe to be out in public life, they think. This is coming from the emergency responders who said don't go to the hospital because they're full with Omicron cases and they're actually closing the hospitals. She chose to stay home and force herself to sleep because she was so uncomfortable. We need the checks. It's not safe to venture out. Thank you so much, Angela Fox, for sharing your story with us here, sharing your story on our comment section. And I chose to feature this comment because it went perfectly with kind of what a lot of people are struggling with here is if even if you have an emergency that's not per se a pandemic related issue and you have to go to the hospital, it's interfering with, or the virus is interfering with everything else, right? And that's kind of putting a lot of pressure on everybody, right? You have a medical issue, right? And you need to go to the hospital or you're deciding and you're like, yeah, I need to go. And emergency responders are in this case telling her, don't go. And because the hospitals are full and you could catch the virus and the hospitals are full of the virus, that's how bad things are. Can't make this stuff up, guys. So yeah, and my heart goes out to you, Angela. I hope you're feeling better, and my heart goes out to anybody right now. Obviously, there's millions of people that are dealing with this virus right now. Millions of people can't go to work. Millions of people are. I seen this funny video that my wife sent me on her Instagram. I don't think I can show it because certain things are copyright, and I can only show certain videos online. But it was kind of like this little like ninja video, and it was a video of and the caption was people who haven't caught the virus yet trying to dodge catching the virus. And it was kind of this woman with like a spear and she's trying to get the other person and she's like and it's kind of like, yeah, if you're trying to dodge the virus, it's like that's kind of how everyday life feels, right? You're like, oh what and it's so bad out there right now. It's kind of how it feels like, right? Yeah, it's just it's crazy right there. Life is just insane right now. Insane right now. Yeah. But these are the decisions that people are making. Uh don't go to the hospital even though you're in severe pain. Yeah, this is kind of what life has kind of come to, right? And if you do go to the hospital, you're full of people that are positive there, right? You got a whole nother set of issues, right? Yeah. Let me know your thoughts here because this is kind of it's like a whole double-edged sword type of deal that everybody's dealing with, right? It's crazy. Here's another story from Business Insider from 18 hours ago. Colorado EMS staff have been instructed to only transport individuals with the most severe cases of the virus. So literally, if you don't have a most severe case of the virus, they're not going to transport you, according to this headline. That's how busy they are. That's how full they are. They just don't have the capacity to do it. So, and that kind of goes along with her comment there. Yeah, it's just tough out there. And I get that everybody has a different opinion on the virus. Some people kind of even don't believe in it or don't think it's that bad, but it's just there's so many people that are out there positive right now. So many people that are quarantined. And remember, my brother-in-law, Jim, is in the hospital right now with the virus. With the virus. I texted him today. He hasn't responded yet. I'll just double check here to make sure. Um, yeah, I texted him 4 hours ago. He hasn't responded. The last time I talked to him, which was like a day or so ago, he said he thought he was getting better, um, but very, very slowly. He's been in there for days now. He's only a few years older than me. So, I mean, yeah, make of that of what you will, but my thoughts and prayers go out to him and anybody dealing with this. This is why we have so many people right now saying we need more stimulus checks, we need more support, we even need more unemployment checks, or we need paid pandemic relief, paid family and medical relief. Because think about the millions of people right now that are out of work and are missing a week of work, 2 weeks of work, 3 weeks of work. And there's a lot of jobs, a lot of employers that don't offer paid family and medical leave. And there's millions of people right now that don't get paid time off. So think about, it's like the worst time ever for this. And this is kind of what I've talked about here a couple videos ago, that like sometimes it takes something really bad to happen to kind of put the spotlight on these holes in our country, that like, oh yeah, you're right, we should have had that for a long time. When we look back on 9/11, airport security, you're right, and then kind of everybody looks back and it's like, ooh yeah, we should have had airport security for a long time, but nobody really thought about it. It just wasn't like it's just something we took for granted until something really bad happened. Or when we look back at the Great Depression from the 20s, unemployment programs didn't exist. The Social Security programs didn't exist. I don't remember who said it, but I just seen a quote here recently. I think it might have been Chuck Schumer. Maybe I'll play that clip for you guys in the next video, because I want to get to a couple other things here. But Chuck Schumer said, with how partisan everything is right now, it's Republicans and Democrats versus Republicans in Congress. And they do come together for some things. I mean, stimulus check 1, stimulus check 2 were together. Stimulus package 1, stimulus package 2 were together. And some of these new stimulus packages might be together here as well, as there is some support for that and the child tax credits. We might see them come together as well. But a lot of things are Republicans versus Democrats, Democrats versus Republicans. It's not everybody voting on what they feel is right, or what this senator feels right, or what that senator feels right. It's just one party versus the other. Kind of weird. And I believe it's Chuck Schumer who said that he doesn't even know if the Social Security Act would have passed in today's era, which is interesting, that Social Security, to enable Social Security to even pass it, to pass it for the first time ever, would have passed in today's day of age, with the filibuster, with needing 60 votes in the Senate. Because back then, Social Security, passing the Social Security program, was a radical idea. And so was unemployment benefits. So imagine if we didn't have those things now. Those came out of the Great Depression. Again, it took something really, really bad to happen, the Great Depression. And you kind of think now we're in a really, really bad situation, a once in 100-year pandemic, and it kind of shows us, we need a lot of these programs that we don't have right now, like paid family and medical leave, just as an example, rent assistance, reducing the cost of childcare, additional benefits for seniors, right? A lot of these things that we should have had all along, that a lot of other countries already do have and have had for a long time. Now, we have a lot of benefits that other countries don't have, but there's just some things that we're missing. Some things that the U.S. needs to add that a lot of other countries that don't have, or a lot of other countries that have had for a long time that we don't. So it does kind of make you wonder that, and we've learned from our mistakes in the past, just like the airport security thing. If you kind of don't think about it, sometimes it takes a really bad situation, like a Great Depression, or a really bad event to happen, or a pandemic, to kind of say some of these programs are born out of that. Hopefully we learn this time around as well. Let me know your thoughts. Here's the White House getting asked a couple interesting questions. Check this out.
Since the president didn't take questions from us either today or yesterday, can you tell us whether he can live with a smaller Build Back Better package, or a package that doesn't have the child tax credit in it, or with only employed people qualifying for the child tax credit, which is what Senator Manchin says he wants?
Well, I can tell you that the president absolutely wants to get Build Back Better done, is committed to get it done, because it will lower costs for Americans across the country. Childcare, elder care, health care, a lot of the areas that are impacting American families' budgets across the country. I can tell you that those are conversations he and many members of our senior team will continue to have with a range of senators who are involved in this process in the weeks ahead, and that we're not going to outline them in more detail from here. And I would also just reiterate that the president sees and recognizes and values the contribution of the child tax credit and what it did to help prevent 40% of kids from being in poverty last year, and it's something that he advocated for, he introduced, and he called for himself. So he absolutely wants to see an extension of the child tax credit. I would note, this doesn't answer your question, but I thought this was an interesting thing. Someone shared with me this morning that the way it was designed is that payments are going out every month for 6 months. As soon as people file their taxes, they will get the other half. So we absolutely want it to be extended. We're going to fight for that. But there is also additional payment that will come to people who are eligible when they file their taxes.
And speaking of taxes, the IRS is sending out an important announcement letter about stimulus checks and child tax credits recipients that they're sending out here. They started sending them out in December, and they're sending them out here in January until the end of January as well. Hold on to 2 letters before the 2021 tax filing season. Here's what they're going to say. You need to keep these. Americans who receive the 3rd round of stimulus checks or an advanced child tax credit payment should be on the lookout for 2 important letters from the IRS. I'm also going to tell you here what to do if you're owed money here in a second. The IRS said that it began issuing letters on the child tax credit payments in December and will continue through the first part of the new year, while the letters on stimulus payment will be delivered by the end of January. Okay, so these letters are going out right now. The agency urged anyone who receives these letters to hold on to them ahead of the 2021 tax filing season, which will likely begin later this month. So if you get these letters, don't throw them away. This information in the letter is intended to help individuals avoid errors and delays in processing their returns this year. It's going to tell you how much you were paid for your child tax credits and your stimulus checks. Remember, stimulus checks are not taxable, but your child tax credits they're not taxable, but it's going to tell you how much you were paid and how much you're still owed. Okay, because remember, the first half of the money is owed, and some people missed payments and stuff or were paid wrong amounts. And the rest of the money you get on your tax return. You claim it on your tax return. Okay. Families that receive monthly installments of the boosted child tax credit last year will receive a letter called Letter 6419 from the IRS informing them of the total amount of the advance payment they received and the number of qualifying children used to calculate their payments. Also, this is a good time to be aware that there's a lot of scams going around right now, especially during tax season. If you see anybody in the comment section pretending to be me, remember, I will always have a check mark by my name. I will never have a phone number in the comment section. I will never ask you to text me or call me in the comment section. I don't have any phone numbers where you can call me. Okay? If you see anybody saying text me, call me, and they're using my picture, it's a scam. And there's scams going on all around over YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere. Not just me, with anybody who's a public figure or a celebrity or any YouTube channel or anything like that. Be aware, there's a lot of scams. A lot of people are trying to steal your money. Just be aware of that. And a lot of people are trying to steal your stimulus checks and your child tax credits or anything, your credit card, your personal information. Don't give your personal information to anybody. So be aware of that. Okay. Most of the time, they won't send you a letter because they have to pay to do that. Think about each letter costs a stamp and an envelope and money or the paper and ink. So it's almost probably like $1 when you add all that stuff up. But it could happen. But just please be aware that I won't text you or ask you to call me in the comment section ever. Okay. So if you watch this show, you've probably seen those scams occasionally. I'm really good at deleting them and banning them, but they make new accounts all the time. But I'm pretty good at deleting them and banning them. I actually spent a lot of time doing that to protect you guys. At least half of the enhanced child tax credit payments will be paid out as a lump sum when parents receive their 2021 tax return that you're going to be filing here in 2022. Recipients should use the letter, keep the letter, and use it to accurately reconcile the credit they already received when filing their taxes this year. Okay, also, if you didn't receive your third stimulus check payment, or if you had a dependent or a child dependent that didn't receive a third stimulus check, or if you had a new baby that was born in 2021, they're owed a stimulus check. Even if they were born on December 31st, 2021, you can claim a $1,400 stimulus check for them. Okay. And there's actually millions of people, adults, that didn't get their third stimulus check. Okay. You claim it on your line 30 on your tax return, on your 1040 tax return. Okay. As you can see here, ask your tax preparer or your tax filer or your accountant or H&R Block, wherever you go to put it on line 30. That's, you put the amount that's owed to you. Okay. As you can see here, right here on the screen. Again, my job here, or not really my job, but my duty is to help as many of you guys as possible. If you're missing your third stimulus check at this point, you're going to claim it on line 30 on your tax return. Or if you're missing a check for a child, if you're missing a check for an adult dependent or a spouse, you file the amount that's owed to you on line 30. If you're missing stimulus check 1 or 2, you would file that on a 2020 tax return on line 30. You can go back and file an amended tax return to claim any missing stimulus money, just so you guys know that. You can do that. Okay. And if you had a new baby born in 2020 or 2021, you can get a stimulus check for them. You just have to claim it on your tax return. And you also get the child tax credits for them. So, for example, in 2021, if you had a brand new baby born in December, you can get a $1,400 stimulus check for them and the $3,600 child tax credits for them for the whole year. So $5,000. But if you don't file a tax return, you don't claim it, you'll get nothing. So this is why you have to pay attention and you have to know this stuff. If you don't know this stuff, you're gonna miss out on $5,000. Yeah. So share this video with anybody you know that this might be applicable to, because it's kind of one of those things. The more you know, the more money you get. And if you don't know this and you don't claim this, you'll get nothing. And if you don't normally file a tax return, this might be a year you want to file a tax return. File a simple tax return, go into H&R Block. A lot of tax preparers will file a simple tax return for free. Maybe you have to pay $60 or something, but if you're getting $1,400 or $5,000 or something like that, it's worth it. It's worth it. Even if you don't normally file a tax return, you might want to file it if that's one of your scenarios. Again, I don't know everybody's tax situation, okay? I'm going to have tens of thousands of people that watch this video, right? So everybody's situation is different. But if you fall under one of those scenarios, you might want to consider that. So I'm going to have lots and lots of tips for you guys going forward here about taxes, stimulus checks, stimulus packages, state stimulus checks, rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, all sorts of things here on my channel to try to help you guys out, get you as much money as possible that's owed to you. I mean, there's all these programs out here that to give you guys money. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything. So make sure to click the subscribe button down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. It just makes it so you won't miss out on new videos. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll keep you up to date with everything. You can also click the share button down below to share this video with your family and friends that might need to know about this as well. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And this video is how you can claim $1,000 to $2,000 if you put money into a retirement account. That's money you might not want to miss out on as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.